Hello viewers, we are now at the Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Missile Complex in Hyderabad, and with us is Dr. Satheesh Reddy, who is the scientific advisor to the Defence Minister and also the director of the Research Center Imarat. Dr. Satheesh Reddy, you are the scientific advisor to the Defence Minister. That is the position that Dr. Abdul Kalam had held. And we just heard that in the next 5 years, India is going to become 100% self-sufficient in the area of missile technology. That is the area of Dr. Abdul Kalam. What has this exciting journey been like? What is the essence of this exciting journey?
Look at Dr. Kalam became the director of DRDL in the year 1982, where we didn't have even a single missile at that time. So he thought very big. Then he should bring more than about 5 missiles at one go. He could convince the government and brought integrated guided missiles development program with the 5 missiles: Prithvi, Agni, Akash, Trishul, Nag. At the time, so he took all the 5 projects simultaneously to develop these projects. And then also he thought we should have an advanced research center for this country, like any modern research center which is there in the entire world. Look at the world. And so he established Research Center Imarat in the year 1988. That is the same year the first Prithvi was successfully flight tested, the first indigenous missile which has been successfully flight tested. The very next year we had the Agni 1989, which has been successfully flight tested again. So then onwards, the entire team, motivated by Dr. Kalam, led by him, led by his leadership qualities, encouragement to the youngsters and all that. So never look back. Today you look at in the last 20 years, we have developed so many kinds of missiles. One Agni has become 5 Agnis: Agni 1, Agni 2, Agni 3, Agni 4, Agni 5. One Prithvi has become Prithvi 1, Prithvi 2, Dhanush. And then Akash has come, then you have Astra has come, then we have BrahMos has come, then we have got Nirbhay, then we have got B-05, and so many missiles have come into the scenario today. So most of the missiles we could make it, and many of the technologies we could make it here, and this is what Dr. Kalam has led us. He made the entire scientific community focus towards the indigenous development of missiles and brought it. I am happy that I am Director RCA, for which he was the founder director. And I am also become scientific advisor, which he was holding that position, that I should do my best to at least do few things what he could do in his life by following his footsteps.
You have worked with Dr. Abdul Kalam very closely. Do you think even Dr. Abdul Kalam had imagined that so quickly the Agni series would end up becoming a full-fledged intercontinental ballistic missile as it is qualified as today, the Agni 5?
In fact, it is a very good question what you have asked. Dr. Kalam, when we have brought him to Wheeler's Island and shown him before launch of one missile, then he never thought that we have moved so quickly and operationalized these missiles, Agni 1, Agni 2, Agni 3, Agni 4, and then we are moving to Agni 5 intercontinental ballistic missile. He was so excited. In fact, he was saying the entire scientific community that day, you guys have done the fantastic job. What I just started, you took it very quickly to this stage today, and now we are becoming missile power in the world. He was so happy and so excited. What he started could go into this shape today.
Okay, and that 100% self-sufficiency in missile technology is going to happen in your time. So what did it feel like when you first stepped into Dr. Abdul Kalam's shoes as the scientific advisor?
In fact, I feel that it is a heavy responsibility on me. And a person like Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who led this entire defense research as scientific advisor, and immediately after taking over as scientific advisor, I went to Dr. Kalam. He has spent with me 1 hour, how you should go, how you should do, what focus you should have, how you have to move the things, and how the scientific research in the country has to be taken up. I feel it's a great responsibility on my shoulders, and then we have to move this entire research for self-sufficiency in the country, moving the scientific community, moving the academia, and then integrating them and taking the cutting edge technology as research topics and then work towards that is the motivation and is what we have to create to the scientific community towards, and I am working towards that today.
And indigenization is not only about missile technology. You are the scientific advisor to the Defense Ministry. So there are other areas like the light combat aircraft. How much do you think you have progressed in the other areas?
In fact, Honorable Raksha Mantri has taken a very serious view of this, and we had a lot of discussions on this. Many of the components, subsystems and systems levels are also being imported. So we have listed out all those items. and we have taken steps that in the coming couple of years, most of those components, subsystems, systems should be indigenized. This is one thing which is taken up seriously with the public sector also. Like HAL, Bell and ordnance factories, we are collecting the whole information, what are all being imported today, how we can indigenize, whether it is economical to indigenize or not, whether there are any critical components in that which we have to take up seriously. That work is going on. And similarly, in all the areas, not only in the missiles as you rightly asked, whether it is take armored vehicles or artillery, or you take in the aviation area or aircrafts and related areas also, there are steps being taken how indigenously many of these things can be produced within India. May not be within a given 5 years periods, but definitely in a time bound manner, all the systems we are trying to indigenize them here in India, and later steps are also there where you have to go ahead in the most advanced systems and develop them systems in India.
Not only in the realm of missile technology, as we said, in the other areas also, your programs were stymied by way of sanctions over the years. How did India cope with such sanctions? Many of those hurdles you have crossed, but how did you manage to cope with such sanctions? Many of the other countries have not been able to cope with it.
Let me say, first thing is that even though these sanctions have delayed our programs a little bit, but we should also thank them for putting these sanctions, wherein with lot of vigor the people have worked in these technologies and we have developed indigenously. Suppose somebody has been giving these items, we would not have put that much efforts to make these systems indigenously. So many of these systems we have, whether you say engineering or development or some parts you import as components and then make a system of yourself. That's how we have got into the whole indigenous development of these systems, even though there had been about 3 to 4 years delay in the whole effort, but many of the systems we could indigenously develop the systems or integrate the systems by importing some of the components.
Right. And Dr. Reddy, conversely, some of the sanctions are also being lifted. So what kind of momentum are you likely to pick up when the sanctions are lifted by and by?
It is like this. See, when you are weak, somebody actually ridicules you. When you become stronger, then they appreciate you. Today, once you started developing yourself, there is nothing you can do further, these people can do. So the only way is that make their own people also sell to you, otherwise you are losing the complete market. So this is how it is. So by lifting the sanctions, the indigenous efforts are not going to come down. We are going to, the government is committed, Honorable Rakshamantri is committed that we should not import these systems, we should make them in the country. So by lifting the sanctions, the indigenous efforts will not be affected at all. That is what is the motto what we have today.
So are you also hinting, Dr. Reddy, that some of the countries will start depending on India, some of the advanced countries, for technology?
Honorable Pradhan Mantri in DRDO Bhavan in the 84th anniversary of Dr. Abdul Kalam, he was telling that we have to give it to the world, and we have been taking, now it is time we have to work for giving to the world. So the present government is concentrating on exporting many of the products to various countries in the world. There have been lots of requests coming from the entire world for various systems, subsystems and major systems for exporting, for rather importing from India to their countries. So the government is very serious that we should export that. So we are going to do that, and we will be giving many products to the world in the coming years.
And as a veteran defense scientist, do you think some of the advanced countries would also start depending on Indian technology? For instance, satellite imagery.
Definitely, many countries in the world, including advanced nations, have started using Indian information today. Like Chandrayaan mission, the USA has used many of the data what we are given today. Similarly, satellite imagery, rightly what you said. In the oceanography area also a lot of data is being taken from Indian side. So the dependence on India started already, and so this is already started, and many of the other technologies also we are going to give it to the world, and the world is going to depend. My feeling is a lot on India, like what we are seeing today in the computer software, in the technologies also. Maybe 10 years down the line, we'll be supplying many of the technologies and products to the advanced nations also.
Just 10 years down the line.
Yes.
That's quite a revolution.
Yes. We are already made many systems. We have made couple of systems which are first of its kind in the world also today. And so the focus is like this today. One is the indigenous content, make in India, or design and make in India. The next step to that is make systems of first of its kind in the world. That is what is the next mantra. So you work on the futuristic technologies, so that you are making these technologies products which are first time in the world. Then only you will be able to compete with these advanced nations and sell it in the world. Otherwise you won't be able to export your systems to the nations which are developed nations. You only will be giving to the third world. So unless you make the first of its kind products, you won't be able to sell to these nations. So the next step after this make in India and design and make in India is going to be futuristic technologies.
So Dr. Reddy, when the missile complex was renamed after Dr. Kalam, 2 new centers were also inaugurated, sort of path-breaking or cutting-edge centers. One was the facility for radar cross-section measurement, and the other one was Futuristic Research Center for Imagery, perhaps to track down aerial objects. What does it mean?
These two are very important facilities what have been inaugurated today. In fact, that's how Honorable Raksha Mantri has taken time to come here, not only renaming of this missile complex as Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Missile Complex, but to inaugurate these two important facilities. The open range radar cross-section measurement facility is a very important facility for any nation. This is the first of its kind as a facility in the open range for India. Many countries, rather the USA, Russia, Germany and China have these facilities. Any aircraft or UAV or a missile system what you develop, you need to see what is the type of radar cross-section measurement what it gives for the entire frequency band. So when you design a system, you try to see that has a minimum radar cross-section, RCS, and then you need to measure that facility that yes, it is matching to your design, or you try to improve the designs and see how it is working and all that. So for that you need a open range with all those features what you require there, where there are no reflections coming back from the surface and other areas. And that type of environment you need to create a facility you create. And that facility has been created with a big pylon which can take about 45 to 50 tons of loads of aircrafts and missiles and all that. And with academic institutes we have worked wherein this frequency is right from 1 gigahertz to 96 gigahertz we are able to generate and measure those things. That is what is the facility he has inaugurated, which is a very important facility for the nation, not for RCI or DRDO alone. The second facility is an advanced research center for futuristic research what has been created in the many areas of, as you said, imagery related data and data processing, data dissemination, data collection, and also synthetic aperture radar based data and data processing, and many other advanced technologies are going to be developed in those in that research center. And that is what is another facility what has been inaugurated today, which is going to give a quantum jump in the defense technologies with these two facilities for the coming few years now.
That is also a revolution.
Definitely.
On the other hand, Dr. Reddy, there is a criticism that the DRDO and the public sector defense establishments are not delivering at times. For instance, it is said that the light combat aircraft has taken so much time. The main battle tank is perhaps not up to the mark, according to the critics. What is your take?
See, firstly, you have to look at the aircraft development, what has happened elsewhere in the world. Now let's talk about the Rafale aircraft. In an advanced nations like European nation and places like that, with the ecosystem available there, ecosystem in the sense aerospace manufacturing facilities, the industries and the various technologies and the production capability in the country. With this ecosystem available there, they have taken about roughly 16 to 18 years in the country. So in a country where we can say that there was nothing in an ecosystem of aerospace manufacturing and other areas, if we take about 25 years, I don't think we have taken too much of a time. Now, LCA definitely in its range is one of the best aircrafts in the world today, definitely. Probably, yes, it got delayed about 5 to 10 years, that's a different aspect, but today it's one of the very good aircrafts with many capabilities, and now it's ready and it's going to be produced, and it is already initial operation clearance is completed, and the FOC, final operational clearance also is going to be.
Are you expecting it next year?
Next year definitely it's going to happen. And Air Force is also serious to take this aircraft in numbers, and quantities will be produced also in the country. Then you see the change. Now the ecosystem is building up in the country. There are many industries which have come here now who are manufacturing these aerospace components. There are many suppliers now today, at least about minimum 6 to 8 suppliers who are supplying into Airbus, Boeing, and these type of aircraft systems, many of the landing aids, wings, and many components.
And they are available in India now?
Now they are available in India. So if you take up any future activities, then the development cycle is going to be much less compared to what it has been done.
Okay, what about the main battle tank Arjun?
Main battle tank also, look at it, the features what it has been asked for and the features what have been incorporated is one of the best tanks today available. But yes, it must have, in creating that features, and first time you are making a tank, you would have crossed certain specifications. But as such a tank, even services also agree, it's one of the best tanks available in the world today. That's how services have placed an order of 100 plus, and that's how it has been delivered also. I think the next generation, Arjun Mark II, what is going to come, is going to be a tank with all these advanced features and meeting the specifications. Soon it should be coming out.
Soon? How soon?
Within the next 2 years it should be coming out.
Okay. We are at the Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Missile Complex, and with us is Dr. Satheesh Reddy, who is the scientific advisor to the Defense Minister. He'll give us some more insights, but after a break. Please keep watching.
Now the National News Channel of India, live on your mobile phone. Get the news on the go. Watch top videos, get the latest news and continuous news on your mobile phone. Download DD News app now. Visit the Android Play Store, search for DD News, download the app to your phone. Get the power of information at your fingertips. DD News. Only news, complete news.
ब्रेकिंग न्यूज की रेस से हटकर
खबरें कुछ अच्छी भी हैं,
खबरें जो बढ़ाएंगी हौसला और विश्वास,
उम्मीद भरी खबरें जो लाएंगी मुस्कान। गुड न्यूज इंडिया।
We are at the Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Missile Complex, and with us is Dr. Satheesh Reddy, the scientific advisor to the Defense Minister, who is also the director of the Research Center Imarat here. So, Dr. Reddy, before the break, you spoke of your achievements. Now, what are your priorities for future achievements now?
As I said, 2-3 things. First thing is, you heard Raksha Mantri's next 5 years, we need to have complete self-reliance in the missiles area. Similarly, the self-reliance and indigenization in other areas also is on the top priority. Whether it is through Make in India or make your own efforts to develop them through design and development is the priority number 1. Number 2, we are identifying some specific projects, specific systems which are required for our services as futuristic systems, and going to have a focus on those areas and development of those systems in the coming next about 5 to 8 years or so. Also, as I was saying earlier, the work towards the futuristic systems, as Honorable Prime Minister said, to deliver these technologies to the world, you need to work on futuristic technologies. There is an effort going on to identify some of the futuristic technologies and trying to create a focused research centers in these areas, whether it is materials or aeronautics or some of the areas like soldier related systems and artillery related systems. These areas will be taking up a lot of futuristic research in that, whether it is technologies in the component level or system level, and we are going to work on that.
How would you like to involve the private sector?
The private sector, the roles of these organizations are going to be redefined today. In the sense, the R&D institutes are going to concentrate more on research and some amount of development. The public sector is going to concentrate more on development and also production. The private sector is going to do research in specific focused areas, like the way they have done in the ICT area. ICT area, the most of the research, information communication technology, many of the innovations have come from private industries. Similarly, in specific areas, private industry is also going to do the research. Government is going to fund them, is going to encourage them. And then as I said, the public sector has to concentrate more on the development also. The production quantity also will go in a big way to the private sector. So many of the systems which are going to be developed in the future, the private sector will be involved in a big way. And in fact, the DPP what is going to come is going to focus in this direction.
And what are some of the country's inherent strengths in terms of the current global situation?
See, today one important thing is availability of the human resources in the country. But then the skilled human resources are not available in the country today. You need to work on that in a big way to have more skilled manpower so that you are able to produce these systems at a lower cost and at a cheaper cost compared to other systems and do it. Second thing is, you have been very strong in the software area till now. Okay, that is one area. Now our concentration has to be more on these technologies. We are going to concentrate more in the academic institutes to have the syllabus more connected to these areas and work towards that, and so that you have skilled manpower more coming into these areas and you focus more towards that research coming in the future.
So, Dr. Reddy, what you mean is that the Human Resources Ministry would also be involved in this?
Yeah, in fact, even Ministry of Defense, DRDO is also thinking to get involved in the skill development. Raksha Mantri has taken a review also, and we are going to work on how the skill development
with the HRD Ministry.
HRD Ministry, and also we are going to talk to the various universities how the areas of defense areas can be included in the syllabus of those academic institutes and get the students already trained and have the skills connected to us.
Okay, and what is the average day in the life of a scientist like you?
The average day in a scientist in DRDO, particularly in the missile complex, you see that generally the people come here by 8:40, and I don't think majority of the scientists leave before 8:40. So there are at least about 12 hours, suppose the travel hours you take, and total about minimum 14 to 15 hours a day they work. And even though it's a 5-day week, minimum 6 days they work here, like the same 12 hours in the office. And at least 50% of the Sundays also they come and work here. That's how many of these systems could be achieved in the country. The same thing is there in the ISRO also, if you look at it. That's why in a short span of about 25 years, so many missile systems or so many satellites or satellite launch vehicles could be achieved in the country. That's the dedication of the scientists which has resulted like this to the country today.
In other words, you also mean that you are not able to look after your families?
I don't say look after, but you are not able to spend time with the families, definitely. In fact, the families are looking after you, and you are not looking after the family that way. So the family definitely looks for time. I don't think scientists here, many of the scientists I hear, even my seniors who were there here as directors, they said many of the Diwalis also, in the Diwali night also they have spent in office. So that's the dedication what has resulted this type of programs become successful for the country.
Right. And finally, Dr. Reddy, how do you look at the future as a whole?
Future is very bright. as I think other day Prime Minister was saying, that the future is ours and we are going to be a superpower in the technologies, at least by next about 15-20 years. Definitely we are going to be a hub of technologies.
Okay.
That's what we look at it. That is what is Dr. Kalam's dream. Kalam wanted, and Dr. Kalam's strength was that think big and make systems which somebody has not made, somebody cannot imagine. And the technology makes your economy of the country go up in a big way. So that is what is the vision. Next about 20-25 years, you should make the country as a real technology hub and make the economy of the country by exporting many of your technologies and products, make the country rich.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Satheesh Reddy.
Thank you, Nath. Thank you.
Thank
Nath.
you.